Now, more than 100 people displaced by tidal waves at Moree in the central region are yet to receive support. These families are struggling to find shelter and food after their homes were affected last week. Richard Kojonyako visited them, and here's his report.
The strong waves swept through the town and displaced many. Days after the tragedy, the affected persons are still struggling to find shelter and food. Kwekwata Pinyin is a resident here at Moree.
More than 15 houses have been destroyed. Where the women used to smoke their fish have all been flattened. There was a filling station where I'm currently standing. It's been taken over by the sea. We are appealing to the president to intervene and help us out of the situation.
Na yɛn ande krum fat obaye na kumatu na igwane echi ansa na yelba abohwe de dot dam na bebi ofi be ye be na yɛn de na ejuru menyo kese na waye ni su
Sofu Kwekutewia is a Brentahin of Moree.
We all ran away when the disaster struck. When we returned, we saw that our buildings had collapsed. Now many of the people don't even know where to lay their heads. As I speak, a woman and her daughter are sleeping under a shed. The strong waves went beyond 100 meters of the shore into our homes. The premix fuel station here and many of the canoes of the fishermen have all been destroyed.
The regent of Moree, Nana Obokesiampa the first, is distraught.
We had a very catastrophic event here. If not for God, Ghana would be mourning the entire Moree community. The sea waves, the tidal waves, and it was just crazy. And it's not the first time this has been happening. We have been trying to reach out to government leaders to support us, to no avail. So last Monday, what happened is like the last straw that broke the camel's back. You see these households, they've all been displaced. Now we have hundreds of people with no shelter. When you come to Moree, you have what we call patase. Every community has patase. So these people has been reduced to sleeping under the sheds. Some are mothers, some are feeding their young babies. It's just sad. It's just so sad. If I should walk you right now to the community, you see people carrying their babies with no place to stay. So as a matter of urgency, this is an emergency. We need government to pay attention to us. We feel neglected. We feel like we have been so marginalized. No one is really concerned about the plight of Moree. But Moree is a very powerful community.
The Chief Executive Officer of Kwa Mischa, Professor Ato Duncan, who hails and resides in the district, called for government intervention to help support the community.
So this is the time all of us must stand up and see what we can do to help this community. I'm coming from the Center of Awareness Global Peace Mission point of view. Peace is an institution that seeks to address issues confronting peace. And I believe that this is a very serious issue confronting peace. Now about 100 people have been displaced, and you don't know what will happen in the next few weeks and few months. So I think that something must be done as early as possible. And this is a huge task. No individual can take this upon himself to fix this particular but there's a need to build a defense wall. So I'm pleading with the government to come in with immediate effect as early as possible. I'm also pleading with the World Bank also to consider.
So the big question now is what local authorities are doing to deal with the situation. Let's speak with NADMO Director for Abra, Sebu Kwamankese, Simaila Kabori. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. So why have these people not been reached out to? Why don't they have a place to sleep? Why is there no intervention?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's not about we have neglected them. Since I assumed office, I visited the place about 2 years ago because of sanguine activities along the coast. There was a report of sanguine activity, so I decided to pay a visit to all this seashore. When I got to that particular area, I realized that there has been a gradual erosion of this sand winning, gradual erosion of this the banks. I remember they told me some time ago that there was even a filling station even ahead of that particular building that you saw that has collapsed. So because of the sea erosion, all these places have been vanished. So we took it upon ourselves and recommended to the assembly that they can reach out to the ministries concerned so that they can consider building a sea defense. So that can cater for that particular stretch. It's a very long stretch from that area. I wouldn't be surprised if it have more than 500 meters from that area. So it is not that we have declared it, but as you know, a proposal has been sent to the ministry, and I hope that they are working on it.
Mr. Kabore, I appreciate the history. It's very important because I was just going to go into that. I wanted to find out if the seashore had always been this close to the buildings, because this is quite close. But there is an incident that has occurred. And as we know, is usual of NADMO, you would intervene, you would provide shelter, or if you can't provide it, you try and facilitate shelter, give them a few relief items. I'm asking, in this particular case, why that has not been done?
It has, yes, and when the incidents happened, I visited the place last week. The DCE called my attention when he had information. Quickly, I rushed the place. I took a survey of the area. Initially, it was only one building that actually fell down, that collapsed. So I took the report to him. I even wrote to my regional director, who was on me to get the report back to Accra and find out what we can do. Yesterday, we were there with the relief items. Actually, the DCE agreed to certain philanthropists, and Professor Duncan, through his organization, provided us with, I think, 40 pieces of student mattresses, and then mosquito coil. The assembly was able to procure some food items, detergents, and buckets.
So have all these been distributed?
We did that yesterday.
Okay. Now, the long-term solution, you have just mentioned to us what the history is, what your concerns have been over the years. You said 2 years ago you started work in this area. Looking at the seashore and the buildings, I just want to find out from you what the long-term goal is. Are you hoping to evacuate the people? What are the recommendations you are making?
You know, these people, they have a traditional history, and I don't know whether it's a heritage or tradition. I don't know how to mention it. You know, they have a biblical history that link them to their family houses. You know, that particular house, that further is a family house. That is where all family activities are being conducted in that particular place. So if you're looking at relocation, it's very big. Like I've told you, it's a long stretch of what? Seashore. That combines a lot of buildings around that area. So when we are talking about thousands and thousands of people that we need to be relocated, but in the immediate now, we are only trying to appeal to the government. We are working through the ministry to find out if at least something can be done through the sea defense that can protect their land. But for them to relocate, that is another school of thought that we maybe will discuss with the community and find out how possible would it be.
All right. Earlier you mentioned that only one building has collapsed. Are you also disputing the number of people displaced? We are learning that about 100 people have been affected. Are you disputing that as well?
Yes, please, because actually we took account of them so far. Actually, when I learned that the next day another house also collapsed, 2 houses also collapsed. So in all, we are looking at around 40 to 50 people. Initially we had about 32. But when the other 2 houses also collapsed, when we counted them, so that is around 40 something that we give them they are not up to 100. But we are looking at hundreds of people in danger now because looking at the situation, anything can happen at this particular moment.
I also want to believe you're working with the Ghana Meteorological Agency. What are the predictions? Are there any warnings coming through Are you in constant communication with the people to give them any information or notice of impending danger? What exactly is the information flow between yourself, the Ghana Meteo, and the community?
Yes, for now, we are here to, we just went there for the holidays. We went there yesterday. Today, I'm a little bit busy. I have a General Assembly meeting to attend to. Like I said, maybe we're going to have a meeting with the DC and the coordinating director. We will try to reach out to the geological department of the University of Cape Coast so that we can look at what is happening within the ocean, so they can advise us the next line of action to be taken. I will try to contact the Meteo to find out if there's any other emergency.
I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much. Samaila Kabore is NADMO Director for Kwaman Kese, Abrasebu Kwaman Kese, there, giving us details of that.